What up guys, Cole here, and if you've ever had a prospect at the end of the call tell you that they want to think about it or to do due diligence or send me a proposal or I want to talk to some of your clients or really any other annoying excuse for them to get off the call even though they basically spent 20, 30, 40 minutes with you just acting like they've been totally bought in, totally interested the entire time, then this is going to be the video for you, because essentially what we are going to cover is 2 steps you can use to handle any objection the prospect throws at you. So I've taken over 4,000 calls at this point, and literally no matter what objection I get, anything the prospect says after I drop price, I always follow these 2 steps every single time, okay? You see there's basically 3 big objections. There's financial, spouse partner, and uncertainty. Financial, spouse partner, and uncertainty. And within those kind of 3 big buckets, there's a ton of different little tiny variations under those, okay? And no matter what they say, whether what bucket it is or what variation it is, we always follow these same 2 steps. And I'm telling you guys, I've gotten so many objections thrown at me throughout the years. I do this every single time, and it is a game changer. And the best part is it doesn't require any sort of sales pressure whatsoever. So I'm gonna go over to my screen here. You should be able to see 2 steps to handling any objection. What we're gonna cover is an overview of where we're at in the sales process. Then we're gonna talk about 2 steps to handle any objection, exactly what this training is about. And then we're gonna go over exactly what to say. You can see I have some extensive scripting over here that you're gonna be able to pull up on your sales calls, on your computer as you're talking to the prospect, and be able to literally read word for word stuff that is going to crush it for you. So if you want this document that you see on the screen right now, stay to the end of this video and I'll tell you exactly how to get it. Also, if you subscribe to this channel, I run retargeting ads to this channel that gives you a free sales course. It's 30+ hours of content on stuff just like this. So if you want that too, subscribe to the channel and you'll get a retargeting ad to where you can opt in for that. Now, let's start off with going over an overview of the sales process. So there's about 6 phases of the sales process. The introduction, where you have a little bit of rapport, you take the lead of the call. The information gathering, where you're flushing out all the information you need to know if and how you can help the person. And then there's the transition, which is kind of the bridge between the question asking phase and the pitch of you explaining what you do. There's the pitch, which is essentially explaining what you do in a very compelling, unique, different way. There's the committing phase, which ties them down that the pitch is what they need to get to the outcome that they're going after. Then there's the objections phase, which is really where we're going to take the focus of the call today. Okay, so again, you can see here, there's 3 big objections. No matter which one they give you, these 2 steps is what you're going to follow every single time. So let's get into the scripting here. So again, let's say you drop price. You say the investment is just 10K. And they say, I want to think about it. I want to talk to my spouse. I want to talk to my partner. I want to talk to, I want to talk to some of your clients. Whatever they say, okay? Here's how you respond. You say, no problem, okay? That phrase is an amazing phrase you can use in sales. Anytime, especially they give you an objection or a little bit of resistance, no problem. It just diffuses all the sales pressure. Because what they're used to hearing is, if they say they can't afford it, well, you can't afford not to do this. If they say they want to think about it, well, what do you want to think about? Like, they're used to this combative feel to things. If you just say, no problem, it's diffusing the pressure, okay? So I say, no problem. And now for a second here, let's just pretend that money is out of the equation. How do you feel about the process specifically? We covered 4 big key components about what we do and how we help clients get to desired outcome, right? Do you feel like ultimately those 4 things is what you need to grow your agency to 20K a month, ultimately 240K a year? So what I'm doing here is I'm saying no problem, diffusing the sales pressure. For a second, let's just pretend, okay? So playing with a hypothetical, it's easier for them to buy into, that money is out of the equation, right? Because what I'm trying to do here first is see if they're first certain that this is the right thing, now is the right time. Money aside, do they really want to do it? Do they feel like what this is right for them? Because if they're not certain that your process is, this is the right thing, now is the right time, like it's what they need to be able to get to whatever outcome that they want, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if they gave you a financial objection or a spouse partner objection, you're never gonna get past those things because fundamentally, they're just not certain it's gonna work. But if they're certain, if we can get them bought in that this is going to work, now we can have a real conversation about how we can get them in, whether it's financing, payment plans, coaching them on how to bring this up to their spouse or their partner, getting their partner on the call, whatever we need to do. But we need to get on the same side of the table as them and get into agreement that this is the right thing to get them to the outcome, okay? So that's what we're doing here in this language pattern. We're saying, let's just pretend money's out of the equation. Do you feel like the process, like basically the pitch I gave you, is what you need to get to outcome? Okay, there's only two things that can happen here. They're either gonna say yes, or they're either gonna say no, or more likely they never say no. They just kind of give you sort of ambiguous, uncertain response. So what a yes to this question is gonna sound like is, dude, absolutely, it's literally just funds. So you see how that's a fast cadence, and I use like big words like absolutely, oh dude, totally, like I've been looking for a conversation like this for years. You know, something like that, you know they're not bullshitting you, they're telling the truth. But if they say, you know, if you ask, do you ultimately feel like it's what you need to get to the outcome? And they say, oh, you know, Cole, I think so. If they say, no, it sounds really good. And, you know, if they're doing any of this kind of like elongated words and not that certain fast cadence tonality, I just take that as a no. Okay? So if, and this is actually switched here. I'll change this when we go back and do the editing of this video. But if we're gonna cover what they say if they say no or they're uncertain. Okay? So we're actually, this should be step 2A. So then we go to step 2A if they say they're no or uncertain. What we're gonna do is what's called the scale of 1 to 10. So let's say they say, you know, Cole, I just don't know. That would technically be a no, okay? So you'd say, I hear you. And just to be totally clear, what's really important to me is alignment. So like when you come in and work with us, we're rolling up the sleeves, we're getting in the trenches with you on this thing. I mean, our team is all in. So what's important to us, given our commitment in a project like this, is that you feel good about the process and the work that we're doing together. You know what I mean? So just to be 100% clear, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, dude, I just hate this guy, I want to get off the phone, and 10 being, that sounds like exactly what I need, where do you feel like you fall at exactly? Okay? Now if they say, oh, no, I'm like a 10, then you know that it is a yes, right? If they say an 8 or below, you know there's an objection that's keeping them from being a 10. So simply all you say is, let's say they say a 7. A 7 is definitely not a yes. So they say a 7. Gotcha, man. Well, and I appreciate you being honest about that. Now, I'm curious, like, what exactly do you think is keeping you from being like an 8, 9, or a 10? Right? That gap there is going to be the objection. And then we want to isolate that objection, handle it, and then circle back around and temp check and reclose. Okay? So again, basically what we do here is unless they say, you ask this first question that I've highlighted on the screen. Let's pretend money's out of the equation. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's what you need? If they give you anything other than an ecstatic, like, absolutely, we go to the scale of 1 to 10. Okay? Every single time. And what that's going to allow us to do is isolate the objection. Okay? Now, once we have the isolated objection, what do? Well, we got to tie it down again. Okay? So either here or here, they'll likely give you the objection. Okay? So let's say you say scale of 1 to 10, and they say, no, dude, like, I really do want to do it. It's just the money. Then you say, okay, man, well, just to be clear, money aside, is there anything else that's keeping you from being less than 100% certain that this is really what you need to be able to get to $20,000 a month? Okay? Is there anything else that's keeping you from being less than 100% certain that this is going to keep you from getting to $20,000 a month? And he's like, no, dude. Other than money, it's all good. Then we can handle money. Because essentially at this point, we've gotten 3 tie downs that they feel really good about the process of working together. It's just the money. So let's say during this point, the scale of 1 to 10, they say, no, dude, I'm like, honestly, I'm a 10 on the process. I just, it's just a matter of getting my wife bought into this. Gotcha. So just to be clear, really getting your wife bought into this aside, is there anything else that's keeping you from personally being less than 100% certain that this is really what you need? Let's say they say, honestly, you do the scale of 1 to 10. Honestly, Cole, like, this all sounds really good. Like, based on what you're saying, I'm a 10. But, I just need to talk to some of your clients. Or maybe they tell you they're a 7, you ask what's keeping them from being a 10, they're like, honestly, everything sounds good, I just need to talk to some clients. Gotcha. So, just to be clear, man, talking to a few of our clients that can help you really confirm everything I've already told you on this call, aside from just that. Are you basically 100% in? Is there anything else that's keeping you from being less than 100% certain that this is really what you need? Right, so you see how whatever they're saying, I'm isolating it and trying to get them kind of almost boxed into that being the only thing. And then we have totally different frameworks in our training and our paid programs to handle every single little tiny different variation that comes up. But you see how we're trying to isolate it down to the real thing, and we're doing that in a very non-pressure, non-salesy way, in a way that's just really trying to understand. Okay? Another thing too, let's say you say, no problem, for a second, let's just pretend money's out of the equation. How do you feel like the process? Do you feel like it's what you need to get to outcome? They might give you the objection right here and there. In that case, you don't have to do the scale of 1 to 10. You can skip right down to the double tie down. So let's say here, they say, no, dude, I 100% want to do it. It's only money. We skip right down. Let's say, no, I 100% I want to do it. I literally just have a personal rule where I have to wait 24 hours before I ever make a decision, right? Then you're just going to use it. Gotcha, man. So just to be clear, you're just doing a gut check and, taking 24 hours to make sure you're waking up tomorrow feeling the same way you feel right now. That aside, are you 100% in? Is there anything else that's keeping you feeling less than 100% that this is really what you need? They're like, no, that's really what I need. Gotcha. So if you wake up tomorrow, you feel the same way you feel like right now, we're 100% moving forward. So you see how I'm asking that clarifying language to isolate the objection. Okay? So that's it for this training, guys. Obviously, if I'm going to go into a training on how to handle, I want to sleep on it, I need to talk to my spouse, my partner, the financial objection, all of those I can do videos about. Let me know in the comments if you want those. But that would be a multi-hour-long video because those are tons of different language patterns and frameworks and stuff that's just beyond the scope of this. Now, if you want this document, let's comment objections below. Comment objections below, and somebody from my team will send you a link to download this. So comment objections below if you want this, and then don't forget, if you want the free sales course, 30 plus hours of content on building sales teams, training sales teams, the whole entire sales process, setting, prospecting, closing, follow-up, everything, subscribe to the channel. We run retargeting ads for that for you guys all the time, and it's just a free opt-in. There's nothing to buy. It's just 30 plus hours of content. It's good, amazing stuff. So that's it for this training, guys, and we'll see you in the next training.